All right, let's talk about 2025. Are you going to focus on the Pro Series again, I'm assuming?
I mean, I wouldn't say I focused on the Pro Series this year. I just happened to do 5 Pro Series races that worked well with the schedule and finish in the top 50. But I think focusing on the Pro Series means you have to do 3 Ironmans. I think anyone that says, oh, I'm focusing on the Pro Series is building a calendar with 3 full Ironmans that are all part of the Pro Series. I do not plan to do that next year. No, I've thought about it. It's tempting. It's very tempting. You see the big $1.6 million bonus pool. You see, Sam Laidlow and Sam Long and, these Marquardt and Barnaby, these Longa, like these athletes are all going to go for the Pro Series. But, I'm not doing this for money. And I don't really think I have a chance at a top 5 or probably even not a top 10 next year because it requires such a high level of execution at the full Ironman distance. And I'm just not there yet at the full distance. I am a much better 70.3 athlete and I have aspirations to become a top ranked full Ironman athlete, but not in 2025. I'm looking at this 1 year at a time and I think 2025, I'm not sure exactly how I'll set up my year yet, but it will not be going all in on the Pro Series and I won't be a T100 contracted athlete. So it kind of means, what do you do from there?
Will you at least circle a full Ironman?
I'm not sure. It's a great question. So I'm going to start my year off at Oceanside. I love the race. It's the first Pro Series race of the year. The course suits me. The depth is going to be absolutely insane. I know I've heard Christian and Gustav are going to race it, probably all the top Americans. So I can't miss it. I'll have too much FOMO. And it's drivable. It's awesome. It'll be like round 6 for me at Oceanside. And, I want to show up and be ready and have a great race there. Then I will target St. George, possibly with 70.3 Peru in between Oceanside and St. George. That one's just tempting because it's a really small prize purse and I love traveling internationally for races. I speak Spanish. We had a blast in Cozumel, so I could see us going down there. And that's a race where I think I could race for a podium or a win because I don't think other top athletes will be targeting that race. And so, it's tempting because I want to experience racing the best of the best at the big races like Oceanside and St. George. But I also want to make some podiums. I have some sponsor contracts with podium bonuses in place for next year, which is tempting and just another cherry on top for, racing some of the smaller races and being at the front. I would just love to win an Ironman next year, 70.3. And so I'm not going to build my whole season around that, but I would like to give myself some shots at it. If I only race the Pro Series and the deepest races, I'm probably not giving myself that opportunity. And so finding that balance between racing the super big, deep races while also picking some of the smaller ones where I can be at the front, but also experience racing the highest level, I think is how I'm setting up my year. And so after St. George, there's a few different options. There's Eagleman, there's 70.3 Boulder, there's the idea of taking a step back and just building all the way to Ironman Lake Placid, where I could target trying to qualify for Nice. And so I'm not sure exactly how my coach and I will make that decision. We probably will not make it until after St. George. Want to see where the fitness is, how my results are, how the body's feeling, where the improvement areas are. But if I don't target Lake Placid to try to get a Nice slot, I would then go, race the domestic 70.3 circuit as often and at a high level as possible. So 70.3 Boise is a new one on the calendar for the pros, 70.3 Louisville in August, 70.3 Santa Cruz, which is kind of a hometown race for me. I've raced it a bunch of times and I'm from the Bay Area in San Francisco. So that would be a blast. That's the week before Nice. So definitely an opportunity to race for a podium. And then there's 70.3 Cozumel, 70.3 Augusta. So there's all these exciting 70.3s that honestly just motivate me a ton right now, potentially even more than trying to get to the Ironman World Championship in Nice. I'm not sure exactly why that is. I mean, I think it's a combination of, like, if I look at a season where I'm racing Oceanside, St. George, Eagleman, Lake Placid, and Nice, on my best days, I'm finishing top 10, top 5, maybe one podium, maybe. That'd be a crazy result in any of those fields. So I want to see how the fitness develops over the next 4 months, and then I'll make those decisions. But right now, I'm pretty excited about doing 6 or 7 70.3s, really focusing on the run development and consistently running 114, 115. And then setting all sights on Kona for 2026, because that is the dream goal. So part of me wants to just set up 2025 for optimizing to get to Kona in 2026. What does that look like? Maybe it's a year of 70.3 and then a late season Ironman. Maybe it's I need to get a few more full distance Ironmans under my belt to get that experience. I'm not sure exactly what that puzzle and what that will hold, but if I look at the path to getting to Kona in 2026, it's get a lot stronger on the run, stay healthy, continue to build big bike volume and strength, and then target the right types of Ironmans between basically September of 2024 and July of 2025, potentially 3 or 4 different opportunities to try to qualify.
Okay. Do you have specific swim, bike, run goals like you've had the last several years already written down?
Nothing written down yet. For the swim, it's get better. I think it's a silly thing. Like, you got to get better in the swim, bike, and the run. But the swim it's been a huge leveling up for me this year, but it's too hard. And so it's not even about getting faster in the swim. It's about making the effort easier at the same pace. And for the swim, for me, I want to be able to go into these races without a doubt that I'm going to make front pack. And so I'm going to be taking my swim training from, I would say, 18 to 20K a week to 22 to 23K a week on average, with a couple of 24, 25K weeks, making those big hard sessions 5 to 6K instead of 4 to 5K. Those little tweaks and increase in volume, I'm pretty confident is going to do it, just with some consistency. And yeah, I've been swimming better than ever the last month, so pretty confident in my swim, I would say. Got to work on the takeout speed so I don't get dropped, but no, my goal is going to be the same as this year. Swim front pack in every race, with a little asterisk that's, get into T1 with a little bit lower heart rate and not at max effort. On the bike, I want to get stronger. I want to boost my 70.3 watts by 10 watts. So I've basically jumped 10 watts every single year for the last 4 years, from 290 to 300 to 310 to 320. And now this year I averaged 320 and normalized 330 in 3 or 4 different races. And so next year it's about moving that to 330 to 340. I'm also going to the wind tunnel in January, which I'm stoked about. I've never been to the wind tunnel, and I'm hoping to be able to find 10 watts of savings, as they say, maybe even 15, who knows? So riding more aerodynamically with even better, more optimized equipment, and bumping my wattage by 10 watts, that's gonna make me dirty on the bike. Like, if I could really execute against those things, I'm gonna be riding off the front in some of the races, and definitely riding with the best. Again, at a slightly easier effort, because there were days where I was riding just so hard this year to stay at the front, and starting the run just pretty depleted. So I also think another unique kind of side goal for me on the bike is going to be to train the gut to be able to absorb a bit more higher carb intake. I've had some gut issues this year for the first time, and I haven't really figured out my race fueling strategy. So I'm going to be really dialing that in between January and April to figure out exactly how to take in a higher amount of carbs on the bike at a higher wattage.
Man, a free 15 watts is scary to think about. Are we still going to target the 115 on the run?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely want to run 115 off the bike this year. I know it's in there. I ran 115 pace in Mont Tremblant, and the other races I could have run 115 for sure if I had ridden 300 watts instead of 330. But that's not the game anymore. That is not how the game is played these days in the pro Ironman racing. It is absolutely rip your legs off on the bike as hard as you possibly can, and then if you're fresh enough, then you get to express your run, and if you're not fresh enough, you're jogging. And you could pick any top race and you can find an athlete that blew up coming off the bike, and that was me a couple times, but not terribly. And so for me, it's get the swim better, get the bike better, and then I hope the run expresses itself. I'm not going to do anything stupid on the run. Obviously, I'm coming off of another injury, if you saw the last video, so gonna have to be pretty conservative earlier in the year and not take risks. It's gonna be basically doing a lot of easy running and getting really consistent volume. I want to hit 40 miles a week running, over and over and over and over, without a concern, without a thought. And the way I'm going to be able to do that is by running easy. And so that's what I'm going to do with my coach, we've decided. And so I've never been able to run 40 miles a week consistently. And if I can, I'm pretty confident I'm going to see gains in the run. It's you know, it's kind of as simple as that sometimes. It's like you run more and you stay healthy and you do it repeated over time. Of course, there's some efficiency things and some form things. I'm going to address some physical therapy and strength areas and balance issues and things like that. But I'm pretty confident I'm going to run 115 off the bike if my swim gets better, if my bike gets stronger, and I run 40 easy miles a week over 8 to 10 weeks in a row. So we're going to see at Oceanside if that's true. And then, you know, we'll start to layer in intensity and figure out how that fits in. But a lot of it, you know, with my current racing plans and thinking around how many races I want to do next year, there's not going to be a whole lot of time for run sessions and run intensity outside of racing. It's going to be race, recover, you know, absorb some more running volume, and then race again and use that as my intensity. We're going to see how that plays out. You know, it's always a game we're playing, but here's what we know. I cannot just go hit the track and start ripping 400s or even 1K repeats over and over and over during the season while doing high bike intensity and trying to ramp up run volume and work full time. Like, guess what? It leads to injury, and I don't need to freaking go down that road a third time to figure that one out myself. So it's about staying patient and not trying to chase any crazy development. You know, it's consistency over time and being patient and trying to take that long-term view of, okay, where do I want to be in 3 years? Where do I want to be in 5 years with the run? And how do I run 250 off the bike at Kona in 2028, 2030? You know, like, it ain't getting injured every year.
Okay. And what's your biggest goal for 2025?
I don't know yet. I mean,
rankings, like where are you currently ranked, and where would you like to be ranked this time next year?
Yeah, I'm ranked like 64 right now. I mean, I'd like to be in the top 50 for sure. I'd like to be in the top 50. I think that's a reasonable goal. It's really hard, frankly, to stay ranked high. Like, you got to keep putting up results. Your rank is your best 3 results in the last 12 months. So, you know, I'll have to have an amazing St. George, an amazing Oceanside, and another big race in a stacked field that puts me into the top 50. You know, going to win 70.3 Peru does not bump your ranking. It's not possible because the strength of field and the race tier aren't high enough. So to boost your world rank, you have to perform at a world championship race, a T100 race, or an Ironman Pro Series race and place in the top, you know, X number of placements within the certain amount of time from the winner. And that ultimately leads to a high world rank. So I don't have specific goals around that next year. You know, I want to show up and be at the front of the races. I'd like to make a podium or 2. I'd like to maybe win a race. But I'm really going to just focus on development, not the outcomes next year. You know, I'm really proud of where I've gotten to. And so now it's about kind of like maintaining, building consistency, and taking small steps on the swim, bike, and the run. And if I can express those small steps and improve my own abilities and, you know, swim pace, power output, and run pace, I'm not going to be disappointed. You know, if I drop down to world rank 75, but I'm running 115s and I'm riding 335 watts, like, those are the goals. The goals are about output and training consistency. Staying injury free is still number 1 on the list. And, you know, the results and the sponsorships and all the other stuff that follows will come. But, you know, I really also just want to have fun and enjoy the sport. There's too many people at a high level that I see put too much pressure on themselves, and then every year they're doing well, but they don't feel like they're doing well, and then they're, you know, just back to square one on the never-ending hamster wheel. And so I want to have fun and enjoy it and race where I want to race and travel where I want to travel and just have a blast every single day in training and creating YouTube videos and, you know, going on that journey again and just freaking soaking it up. Because like 2025, I am a real pro triathlete. That's crazy. Like, I don't know how long I'm going to be doing this. You know, my wife and I are going to have kids. I have a full-time job. Like, this is a moment in time. I'm 30 years old. I am racing at the highest level, training my butt off, optimizing everything in my life around this now pretty much. Like, I don't know how many years I'm going to do that. So next year is going to be just being present and enjoying the moment and loving the sport of triathlon at the highest level.